The room was full of colors. Balloons were tied to chairs. A big birthday banner was hanging above the table. There was a chocolate cake with happy 8th birthday written in white cream. Children were laughing, running around, and playing. With balloons, everyone was happy. Everyone. Except the birthday boy. Adam sat quietly on a chair near the corner of the room. His eyes were not on the cake, not on the balloons, not even on the gifts stacked on the table. He was looking at the door, only the door, waiting. His mother, Sarah, noticed him. She smiled and came close. "Happy birthday, Adam," she said softly. She kissed his forehead. "Look at all your friends. They brought gifts for you. Don't you want to play with them?" Adam looked up at her for a moment. His eyes were big and sad. "I'm waiting, Mama," he said in a whisper. "Waiting? For who?" she asked. Already knowing the answer, he didn't say anything, just looked at the door again. Sarah's heart felt heavy, but she smiled anyway. "Okay, he will come, baby. Now blow your candles." The children gathered around the cake. They clapped and sang the birthday song loudly. Adam stood in front of the cake. The candles were lit. The flame flickered gently. Everyone shouted, "Make a wish." But Adam didn't smile. He closed his eyes and made a quiet wish. "Please, let him come today. He promised me." Then he blew out the candles. People clapped. The lights came back on. But Adam didn't look excited. Not even a little. His hands stayed close to his chest. He was holding something small, something hidden. The games started. The kids played musical chairs. They danced. They popped balloons and shouted. But Adam sat back down. One boy came to him and said, "Come on, Adam, play with us." Adam shook his head. "No, thank you." Another child offered him cake. He took a bite politely but didn't finish it. He kept looking at the door again and again. One of the mothers whispered to Sarah, "Is everything okay? He doesn't seem happy." Sarah forced a smile. "He's just tired." But deep inside, she knew the reason. She had known it since the morning last night. Adam had gone to sleep with a smile. "Tomorrow he will come, Mama. He told me, he promised." Sarah didn't answer him then. She just hugged him and kissed his head. Now, it was almost evening. All the guests were there, but he was not. The stack of gifts grew taller. Toys, books, puzzles, cars, everything a child could want. But Adam didn't touch a single box. He didn't even read the name tags. After the games were over, some kids started going home. The room became quiet. Only close family and a few friends were left still. Adam waited. Every time someone opened the door, his eyes lit up, but every time, his face fell again. It was always someone else. Sarah walked over and sat beside him. "Do you want to open your presents now?" Adam shook his head. "Not even one." He shook his head again. "Why?" He looked down at the floor. "Because I'm waiting for Papa," he said. "He will open them with me." Sarah bit her lip. Her throat was tight. She held his hand gently. "Maybe he's stuck somewhere. Maybe he'll come later." Adam didn't say anything. He just stared at the door. After a while, all the guests left. The house was quiet again. Sarah cleaned the plates. The leftover cake sat untouched on the table. The balloons were still floating, but the joy had left the room. Adam sat on the sofa, hugging a small photo frame. It had an old picture of him and his father. They were both smiling in the photo. The frame was cracked a little on the side, but Adam always kept it close. Sarah watched him from the kitchen. Her heart broke. She wished she could give him what he wanted most, but she couldn't. It had been 2 years, 2 long years since Adam's father left. He had said he would return soon, but he never did. No letters, no calls, no visits. But before leaving, he had said one thing to Adam. "On your 8th birthday, I'll be there. We'll open your presents together." "Okay, promise." And Adam remembered every single word. That's why, for weeks he had waited. He didn't care about the toys. He didn't care about the cake. He only cared about the promise. Sarah sat beside him again and put her arm around his shoulder. "I'm so sorry, sweetheart." He leaned his head on her arm and closed his eyes. "He will come, Mama. I know he will. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe he got lost." Sarah didn't answer. She just hugged him tightly. That night, Adam went to bed early, but he didn't sleep. He kept the photo frame under his pillow and whispered, "I kept all the gifts safe. I didn't open them. I'm still waiting, Papa." Then quietly, a tear rolled down his cheek. Not for the gifts, not for the party, but for a promise that still lived inside a little boy's heart. The morning sun came slowly through the window. Birds chirped outside. But inside the room, everything was quiet. Adam was already awake. He had not slept much. His eyes were open all night, looking at the door, listening for footsteps. But no one came. He sat on his bed, holding the same photo under his pillow, the photo of his father. The edges were old now. He had looked at it 100 times. His tiny fingers gently followed the smile on his father's face in the picture. His mother, Sarah, peeked into his room. She had a cup of warm milk in her hand. "Good morning, Adam," she said softly. He didn't answer. He looked tired. She placed the cup on the table near his bed. "Drink a little, please." He nodded slowly and picked it up, but he didn't drink. He just stared out the window. Sarah sat beside him. She watched him for a moment and then asked, "You still have the picture?" Adam looked down and held the frame close to his chest. "Yes," he whispered. "It's all I have." Her heart ached. She knew her son was hurting deeply. She had tried everything to make him smile, gifts, games, parties, but none of that mattered to him. He only wanted one thing. His father, Adam, she said gently. Do you want to talk about him? Adam nodded slowly. He said he would come, he promised me. On my 8th birthday. Sarah took a deep breath. Yes, I remember. He never lies. Maybe he tried, but something stopped him. Maybe he was on the way. Sarah looked into his eyes. Sometimes, even good people make promises they can't keep. Adam didn't like that. No, Papa isn't like that. He stood up and walked to the window. He stood there quietly, looking at the street. Every time a car passed by, his eyes followed it. Maybe, just maybe, it was him. Suddenly Adam turned around. Can I go to the mailbox? Sarah was surprised. Why? Maybe Papa sent something, he said with hope in his voice. Sarah nodded. Okay, I'll come with you. They both walked down the street. The morning air was fresh. The mailbox stood near the corner, a little rusty, but still working. Adam opened it quickly. There were only a few letters, bills, a newspaper, and one small white envelope. It had no stamp, no name, just a plain envelope. Adam held it with shaking hands. Mama, look. Sarah took it and checked carefully. There was no address, no sender, just the envelope. Adam looked at her. Can I open it? She nodded. He opened it slowly. Inside was a folded piece of paper. The handwriting was shaky and uneven, but the first word made Adam stop breathing for a moment. My son, it began. His eyes widened. He read every word carefully. My son, I know today is your special day. I remember the promise I made to you. I wanted to come more than anything in the world, but life didn't let me. I'm sorry I broke my promise. I don't want you to be sad. I think of you every day. You are always in my heart. I love you more than words can say. Please forgive me. Love. Papa. Adam held the letter close to his chest. His hands were shaking. His lips trembled, but no tears came out. Sarah took the letter gently and read it to her eyes filled with tears. But how did it get here? She whispered. There's no stamp, Adam said. That means someone brought it. They both looked around. The street was empty. No one was in sight, just the sound of a bird in a nearby tree. Sarah thought for a moment. Maybe he was here. Adam smiled a little. Maybe he saw the party. Maybe he didn't want to come inside because he was late. He folded the letter and put it in his pocket. I knew he wouldn't forget. He loves me. Sarah hugged him tightly. She didn't know what to say. She had so many questions, but she didn't ask. Not now. When they returned home, Adam went straight to the table with the unopened gifts. He looked at them for the first time. He didn't open them yet, but he touched each one. Sarah watched from the kitchen. She saw something different in his eyes now. There was still sadness, but there was also a little hope. That night, after dinner, Adam sat in his bed and took out the letter again. He read it slowly. Then he looked at the photo beside him. He whispered, Thank you, Papa. I believe you tried. I still believe in you. He placed the letter inside the photo frame, behind the picture. Then he laid down and closed his eyes. For the first time in many days, he fell asleep with a small smile on his face, but deep inside, a new mystery began. How did the letter reach him? Who placed it there? Was his father near? And if so, would he come again? The next day, Adam woke up early. The letter was still inside the photo frame, right behind the picture of his father. He didn't want anyone to touch it. It was special. It was the first thing his father had sent in 2 years. He sat quietly on his bed, staring at the photo. He touched his father's face in the picture and whispered, You didn't forget. I knew it. His mother came in with a gentle smile. Good morning, she said, handing him a plate of toast and eggs. Thank you, Mama, Adam said, softer than usual. She noticed something in his eyes, a small light. Not happiness, not yet, but hope. He was still quiet, but he wasn't as sad as yesterday. Did you sleep well? She asked. Adam nodded. I had a dream. Papa was here. Sarah's smile faded just a little, but she sat down beside him and asked, What did he say in your dream? He said, I tried to come. I didn't forget. Then he gave me a hug. It felt real, Mama, like he was right here. Sarah brushed his hair gently. Maybe he really was. Sometimes love finds a way to reach us, even in dreams. Adam looked at her. Do you remember what he said to me before he left? She paused. Yes, I remember. He said, I'll come back on your 8th birthday. We'll open all your presents together. That was his last promise. Sarah nodded slowly. He really loved you, Adam. He still does. Adam stood up and walked to the shelf where the unopened gifts were placed. He touched one of the boxers. He didn't come, but he sent the letter. So maybe he still wants to keep his promise, just not the way I thought. Sarah watched him closely. You really believe that? He nodded. Yes. After breakfast, Adam sat in the living room with a notebook. He drew a small heart. Inside it, he wrote, I still believe in you, Papa. Then he carefully tore the page and put it under the flower pot near the door. His mother asked, What's that for? Adam replied, Maybe, if he's close, he'll see it. Sarah didn't stop him. She understood that this was his way of holding on. A child's heart has a strong kind of love, pure and patient. That afternoon, Sarah sat alone and thought about the past. 2 years ago, her husband Daniel left for a job in another city. It was supposed to be a short trip, just a few months. But he never came back. She had tried calling him. His number didn't work. She contacted his office. They said he never returned after a lunch break. No one knew where he went. No goodbye. No answers. Just gone. The police filed a missing person report, but there were no leads. Months passed, then a year, then 2. Everyone told her to move on. But Adam never gave up. He never accepted that his father was truly gone. Because of that, one promised on now. The letter. It changed something. It was proof he was alive. Somewhere that evening, Adam sat by the window again. He didn't cry this time. He just waited, hoping, watching. Suddenly, a soft knock came at the door. His heart skipped a beat. He ran to open it, but it was only a delivery boy, dropping off a package for his mother. Disappointed, Adam walked back to the couch, but something made him pause. The boy had a strange feeling in his chest. He turned around and looked at the street. Far down the road, near the end of the block, a man was walking slowly. He wore a gray coat and a cap. His steps were weak, like he was tired. He stopped for a second and looked around. Then he walked away, around the corner, and disappeared. Adam's eyes widened. Mama. Sarah rushed over. What is it? There was a man outside. He looked like Papa. Sarah ran to the window, but the man was gone. Are you sure? She asked, breathing heavily. Adam nodded. I couldn't see clearly, but something felt like him. Sarah didn't want to break his hope. Maybe it was. Maybe he's nearby, Adam whispered. Maybe he's afraid to come inside. Sarah thought for a moment. Maybe, or maybe he doesn't remember. Adam looked up, confused. What do you mean? Sometimes, after accidents or hard times, people lose their memory. They forget who they are, where they live, even who they love. Adam's face changed. You think Papa forgot me? No, she said softly. I think he's trying to remember. And maybe now, he's slowly finding his way back. Adam looked at the gifts again. Then I'll wait. I'll wait until he remembers. I'll open the presents when he's ready. Sarah hugged her son tightly. You are so strong, Adam. He would be so proud of you. That night, Adam placed the photo frame and the letter beside his bed. He whispered, Papa, I know you didn't break your promise. You're still trying. I'll keep waiting. Because I love you. And I believe you love me too. Then he closed his eyes and fell asleep. Outside, in the darkness, someone stood near the gate for a short moment, a tall figure in a gray coat, watching the house, quiet, still, and then he walked away into the shadows again. 3 days had passed since Adam's birthday. The gifts were still untouched. The balloons were no longer floating. The cake was gone. But one thing stayed the same. Adam still waited. Every day, he sat near the window or walked to the mailbox. He watched the street. He looked for the man in the gray coat, the man he believed was his father. He hadn't seen him again, but he hadn't given up. On the 4th morning, something strange happened. Adam was in his room, sitting on the floor with his drawing book. He was drawing a picture of him and his father, sitting on a bench, holding balloons. He colored his father's shirt, blue his favorite color, and gave himself a yellow cap, the one he always wore when Papa used to take him to the park. Suddenly, his mother called from the kitchen. Adam, did you leave something on my table? No, Adam replied. Come here, please. Adam got up and walked to the kitchen. His mother was holding a small envelope in her hand. Her eyebrows were tight, with confusion. What's that? Adam asked. I don't know. It wasn't here a moment ago. There's no stamp, no name, just like the last one. Adam's heart began to beat faster. Open it, Mama. She slowly opened the envelope. Inside was another note. The handwriting was the same, shaky, tired, but full of emotion. Sarah read the words aloud. Slowly. Dear Sarah, I wanted to come back long ago, but something terrible happened. I don't remember everything, just bits and pieces. I was in an accident. I woke up in a hospital, far away. They said I had no ID. I didn't even remember my name at first, but slowly, memories returned. One clear image stayed in my mind: Adam's face, his smile, his voice, the promise I made. I walked for days. I asked people. I searched for your house, but I'm still afraid. I don't know if you want to see me. If you've moved on, tell Adam. I never forgot him, never stopped loving him, and I never meant to break my promise. Love. Daniel. Sarah covered her mouth. Her eyes filled with tears. She sat down at the table and held the letter close. Adam stood quietly. It's him, he whispered. He remembers. Sarah nodded, barely able to speak. Yes, he remembers. But why didn't he come inside? Why didn't he knock? Adam asked. Because he's scared, she replied. He doesn't know if we'll accept him after all this time. Adam looked down. I want him to come home, Mama. I never stopped waiting. Sarah hugged her son. Then maybe it's time we help him find his way back. Later that day, Adam had an idea. He grabbed a pen and paper and began writing a letter. His handwriting was big and simple. Dear Papa, I got your letters. I knew you didn't forget me. I knew you'd come back. You don't need to be scared. I never stopped loving you. I didn't open my gifts because I was waiting for you. They're still here. Papa waiting too. Please come home. Please knock on the door. I will open it. Love, your son Adam." He folded the letter and placed it in a white envelope. Then, without telling anyone, he ran outside and walked to the corner of the street where he had seen the man in the gray coat. There was an old wooden bench near the bus stop. He placed the envelope carefully on the bench. He sat for a while, hoping, watching, but no one came. As the sun began to set, he walked back home. He didn't feel sad. He believed his father would find it. Somehow, that night, he told his mother everything. She didn't scold him for going out alone. She just kissed his forehead and said, "You have the biggest heart I've ever seen." Next morning, Adam ran to the bench again. The letter was gone. In its place was something else. A small blue keychain, the one his father used to carry when he took Adam to school. It had a tiny car charm attached. It was old and a little dusty, but Adam recognized it instantly. His hands shook as he picked it up. There was a small paper under it. One line. "I saw your letter. I'm nearby." Adam's eyes filled with tears, but this time, happy ones. He ran home, holding the keychain tight. "Mama," he shouted. He found it. He read my letter. Sarah saw the keychain and gasped. "That's his. It's really him, Adam." They both stood silently, holding the keychain and the note. No more guessing. No more wondering. He was near. He was trying. He was coming home. That night, Adam placed the keychain beside the photo frame. He looked at the unopened gifts, smiled, and whispered, "Soon, Papa, we'll open them together. I'll wait as long as it takes." Outside, across the street, in the shadows between the trees, a man stood quietly, watching, holding a piece of paper with his son's handwriting, and for the first time in a long, long time, he took a small step forward. The next few days passed slowly. Adam checked the bench every morning. Sometimes, he left little drawings or short notes like "I miss you, Papa," or "I still believe." He didn't get another letter, but once he found a small flower tied with a red thread. He knew it was from his father. No one else would leave something like that in the same spot. Adam smiled every time he found a small sign. To him, they were quiet messages, words without sound. He believed his father was still near, watching from a distance. On a cloudy afternoon, Sarah decided to take Adam to the park. She thought a change of place would help him feel better. The park was small, with green grass, a few trees, and an old fountain in the middle. It wasn't crowded, just a few people sitting quietly. Adam walked ahead. He still wore the yellow cap his father gave him years ago. In his hand, he carried the blue keychain. "Let's sit over there," Sarah said, pointing to a bench near the fountain. Adam looked around as they walked. That's when he noticed him. An old man was sitting on a bench under a large tree. He wore a brown coat and had a white beard. He was feeding breadcrumbs to the birds. His hands were slow, careful, like someone who had seen many years. But that wasn't what made Adam stop. It was the way the old man looked at him. Kind eyes, familiar eyes. The man smiled and nodded gently. Adam blinked. "Mama, I think he knows something." Sarah turned. "Who?" "That man." Sarah looked toward the old man. "He's just sitting there, baby." "No, Mama." He looked at me like he knows me. Sarah smiled kindly. "Maybe you look familiar to him." But Adam couldn't look away. After a few minutes, he slowly walked toward the bench where the old man sat. The birds flew away as Adam came closer. "Hi," Adam said, softly. The old man smiled. "Hello, young man." Adam hesitated. "Do you know me?" The old man nodded slowly. "I've seen you here before." Adam's heart jumped. "Have you seen my father too?" The old man looked at him carefully. "What's his name?" "Daniel." The old man's eyes softened. He looked down for a second. "Yes, I knew a Daniel once. He was a good man." Adam sat beside him. "He's my father. He went missing, but I think he's back." The old man nodded. "Maybe he is." Adam looked hopeful. "Have you seen him here? Is he nearby?" The old man smiled gently. "You know, when a man loses his way, it's not always because he wants to leave. Sometimes, the world becomes dark, and he forgets how to come back." Adam listened carefully, but when someone he loves calls him, when that love is strong, he finds his way again. Like a voice in the dark, Adam asked. "Exactly," said the old man. "Your love is loud, Adam. It's calling him." Adam's eyes filled with tears. "I never stopped calling. I left notes. I waited every day." The old man nodded. "He knows. That's why he's close now." Adam looked down. "But why won't he come home?" "Because sometimes," the old man said slowly, "people carry shame, pain. They think they don't deserve to be forgiven. But I forgive him," Adam said quickly. "I just want him back." The old man placed a hand on Adam's shoulder. "Then tell him as many times as it takes." Adam looked into the old man's eyes. "Will you tell him if you see him?" The old man nodded again. "I promise." Sarah called from behind. "Adam, it's getting late." Adam stood up and gave a small smile to the old man. "Thank you, sir." Before leaving, the old man said one more thing. "He's not far. Don't stop believing." Adam turned, but just as he walked away, he realized something. He never told the old man his name, so how did the man know? Later, that night, Adam told his mother everything. About the old man, the way he spoke, and the way he looked at him. Sarah was thoughtful. "He sounds kind. He knew Papa. I could feel it." Did he say where Papa is? No, but he said he's close. Sarah smiled sadly. Then maybe we're one step closer. Before bed, Adam drew another picture, this time of the park bench. He drew the old man beside him, and behind the tree, a man hiding in the shadows. He titled the picture, He's Almost Home. That night, something changed. The wind was quiet. The sky was calm, and across the street, standing in the dark, a man watched the house once again, but this time he took another step forward, then another. He stopped just at the edge of the light. He looked at the windows glowing softly, and whispered soon. The next morning, Adam woke up early again. His dreams were full of voices, soft, warm voices. One of them sounded like his father, but the words were unclear, like they were floating underwater. He sat on the bed for a while, trying to remember the sound. Downstairs, the house was quiet. His mother had gone to the store. Adam poured himself some cereal and sat at the table. His eyes kept moving to the window. Something inside him told him something was going to happen today. A little while later, there was a knock at the door. Adam ran to open it, but it wasn't his father. It was the old man from the park. He stood there with his hat in his hands, looking gentle and tired. Adam's eyes lit up. You came. The old man smiled softly. I said I would. Come in, please, Adam said, opening the door wide. The old man stepped inside slowly. His eyes moved around the room. He looked at the family pictures on the wall. He stopped. At one photo, Daniel holding baby Adam. You look just like him, the old man said. Do you know where he is? Adam asked eagerly. The old man nodded slowly. Yes, I know. Adam waited quietly. His little hands squeezed the ends of his sleeves. Will you tell me? The old man sat on the sofa. He looked like someone who had carried a heavy story for a long time, and now it was time to speak. I didn't tell you this before, he said gently, but I knew your father before his accident. Adam's heart jumped. So it was real? The accident? Yes, the old man said. 2 years ago, your father was walking to meet someone, maybe for a job, maybe to send something home. I'm not sure, but he was hit by a car. No ID, no phone. His wallet was gone. Adam gasped. No one knew who he was. The man shook his head. They took him to a hospital far away, a small town hospital with few people. He was hurt badly. For many weeks, he didn't even wake up. Adam listened with wide eyes. His heart beat faster when he opened his eyes. He couldn't remember anything. Not his name, not his family, not even that he had a son. Tears formed in Adam's eyes. He forgot me, yes, the man said gently. But not forever. Over time, pieces came back. A smell, a street, a voice, a promise, and always the image of a little boy in a yellow cap. Adam wiped his face with his sleeve. He kept asking, do I have a son? I feel like I do. He's waiting for me. But the hospital had no record. No one knew who he was. And he had no one to ask. Why didn't he come home when he remembered? Adam asked. The old man's voice turned quiet. Because by then, he was afraid. He didn't know how much time had passed. He didn't know what had changed. He thought maybe you were angry, or maybe your mother had moved on. Adam shook his head. I was never angry. I just waited. I know, the old man said. And so did he. That's why he watched. From far, that's why he sent letters. That's why he left the flower, the key. Each thing he left was his way of saying, I'm still here. Adam's lips trembled. Where is he now? The man took a deep breath. Closer than you think. He's just scared to knock. Adam stood up quickly. Can you take me to him? The man nodded. Slowly, yes, but only if your mother agrees. At that moment, the door opened. Sarah stepped inside, carrying a grocery bag. She paused when she saw the old man on the couch. Hello? She said, a little surprised. The old man stood and smiled. Politely, ma'am, my name is Henry. I came to speak about someone very important to you. Sarah listened quietly, as Henry repeated everything. The accident, the memory loss, the search, the fear. She sat down slowly. Her eyes didn't blink once. When he finished, she wiped her face. I always knew something wasn't right. He would never just leave us. No, ma'am, Henry said. He tried every day to find the road back. Where is he now? She asked softly. Henry looked at both mother and son. He's staying in a small room near the park. He walks to your street every night. He stands at the gate, then turns around. Sarah's eyes filled again. Adam stood close to her. Can we go to him? Sarah looked at her son. Yes, she said. We've waited long enough. Later that evening, as the sun started to set, Henry led them to a narrow street near the park. There was a small building at the end. On the second floor, in a room with one window and one old chair, sat a man with tired eyes and a heart full of fear. Sarah knocked gently. The door opened slowly, and there he was. Daniel. His beard was a little longer, his face thinner, but the eyes were the same. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Adam whispered, Papa. Daniel's lips trembled. Adam, the boy ran forward, and Daniel fell to his knees, arms wide open. They hugged each other, tightly, not saying a word. Sarah stood at the door, tears falling freely. Daniel looked up at her. I'm so sorry. She nodded, crying, smiling, shaking. You came back. That's all that matters. Adam pulled back, looked into his father's eyes and said, I kept the gifts safe. We can open them now. Daniel laughed through tears. I'd like that. It had been 3 days since Adam found his father. The little house felt full again. The silence was gone. There was laughter now, soft, unsure, but real. Daniel still looked tired, still walked slowly, but his eyes stayed on Adam like he didn't want to blink and miss a second. They didn't talk about everything. Not yet. The pain was still fresh. But they were together again. That was enough for now. Daniel moved back into the house, into the small guest room. He said he didn't want to take his old room yet. He wanted to earn it back. Sarah didn't argue. She understood. Healing would take time. But for Adam, everything felt like a dream. Every morning, he ran to his father's room. Every night he fell asleep after hearing Daniel say, "Good night, son." It was the sound he had missed the most. Still, Adam noticed something every afternoon. His father would walk alone to the park. He'd sit on a bench near the trees and stare into the sky for a long time. He never talked much after coming back. His face would grow quiet again. His hands would tremble sometimes. Adam watched him from far once. The way his father sat there so still, it didn't feel like peace. It felt like a man searching for something deep inside. One day, Adam decided to go sit with him. He wore his yellow cap and held his blue keychain in his hand. He walked to the bench and sat beside his father without saying a word. Daniel glanced at him and smiled. "Hey, champ." Adam looked at the birds flying above. "You come here every day?" Daniel nodded. "Yeah, this bench. It helps me think about what—" Daniel was silent for a few seconds, then he said, "About what I missed." Adam looked down. "You missed a lot, I know," Daniel said softly. Adam turned to him. "Do you remember everything now?" "No, everything," Daniel replied. "Some things are still missing. I remember your smile, your laugh, your birthday, but other things come and go." Adam reached into his pocket and pulled out something. It was the letter. The first one Daniel had sent. "I kept it safe." Adam said, "I read it every night before bed." Daniel's eyes filled. "I didn't know if you'd ever see it. I didn't know if it would even reach you." Adam smiled. "It did, just in time." They sat quietly for a while. Then Adam asked, "Do you remember the last time we were here?" Daniel looked at the trees, the old fountain, the swing set. Slowly, he nodded. "I think you were We fed the birds. You told me you wanted to be a pilot?" Adam laughed. "I still do." Daniel smiled. "That's good. Dreams are important. They keep us moving." Adam looked at his father. "What about your dreams?" Daniel took a deep breath. "I had one. A big one. But I lost it when I lost myself." "You didn't lose yourself," Adam said. "You found your way back." Daniel looked down. "Only because you never stopped waiting." Adam reached for his father's hand. "I didn't open any of the gifts. They're still in the living room." Daniel chuckled, a little embarrassed. "That must have been hard. I wanted to wait for you. You promised, remember?" Daniel nodded. "Yes, I made that promise." Adam smiled. "And you kept it, even if it took 2 years." They both laughed softly. Daniel leaned back. The wind moved gently through the trees. "I sat on this bench before," he said suddenly. "When I first came back, I sat here, right in this spot. I could see the street from here, your house. But I didn't go near it." "Why not?" "I was afraid. I thought maybe you forgot me. Or maybe you were angry." "I was sad," Adam said. "But I never hated you." Daniel looked at him with eyes full of love. "You gave me a reason to come back, Adam. Your hope, your drawings, your letters. They pulled me home." Adam leaned his head on his father's shoulder. "I knew you'd remember." Daniel looked at the park, the children playing, the trees swaying in the wind. Then he said, "You know, I used to dream of growing old, sitting on this bench. You grow, cheering you on." "You still can," Adam said. Daniel smiled. "Yeah, I think I will." Just then, Sarah appeared from the path, waving at them. Adam waved back. She called out, "Dinner's ready." They both stood up. Daniel stretched and sighed. "Come on, let's go open those presents, huh?" Adam nodded excitedly. "Yes." As they walked away from the bench, the wind blew stronger for a moment, as if carrying away the last pieces of silence. The bench stood empty now, but it didn't feel lonely anymore. It had served its purpose. It had been a place of waiting, of pain, of memories. Now, it would be a place of healing, and maybe tomorrow, laughter. The evening was soft. The sun had almost disappeared, and the house was quiet except for the sound of gentle laughter. Inside the living room, Adam and his father sat side by side on the carpet. All the birthday presents were stacked in front of them. Colorful boxers, some big, some small. Each one was still wrapped, each one untouched. Sarah sat nearby on the couch, smiling as she watched them. Her eyes were full of warmth and relief. For the first time in 2 years, her family was whole again. Daniel picked up the first box. "Let's see what this one is," he said. Adam grinned. "That one's from Aunt Lily. She always sends puzzles." Daniel unwrapped it slowly, like it was made of glass. He pulled out a large puzzle box. 500 pieces. "Are you sure you're ready for that challenge?" Adam nodded proudly. "I waited 2 years for this. I'm ready for anything." They both laughed, box after box, gift after gift. They opened together. There were books, toys, model airplanes, and a music box. Adam loved each one, not because of what was inside, but because of who was beside him. Then, near the bottom of the pile, Adam found a small box he didn't recognize. It was plain, wrapped in silver paper, with no name on it. He handed it to his father. "Who is this from?" Daniel looked at it carefully. "I'm not sure." Sarah leaned forward. "I don't remember buying that one." Daniel slowly opened. Inside was a tiny wooden box, smooth and old-looking. He opened the lid. There was a folded note inside. He took it out and read it aloud. "For the boy who waited, and the man who returned. Love never disappears. It just waits. Until we're ready." All three of them were silent for a moment. Sarah touched her heart. Who could have written this? Daniel stared at the note. I know." He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out something else, another note. It was written, "By Henry, the old man from the park. Daniel, if you're reading this, it means you've made it home. The gift is not much, just a reminder of what truly matters. You didn't lose your family, you only lost time. But time doesn't win if love stays strong. Forgive yourself. They already have." Henry. Daniel sat very still. Adam looked up. "At him? You miss him, don't you?" Daniel nodded. "He helped me more than anyone. He guided me when I didn't know where to go. He reminded me that I was still a father." Sarah asked gently, "Where is he now?" Daniel smiled faintly. "I think he's where he always is, watching from just far enough." They sat in silence for a few moments, holding the box, the note, and the warm feeling it brought. Then Adam asked, "Papa, do I get to open one more gift?" Daniel raised his eyebrow. "Another one? Haven't we opened them all?" Adam shook his head and pointed at his chest. "There's one left. It's from me." He got up and ran to his room. A few seconds later, he returned holding a small envelope with Daniel's name written in big, careful letters. Daniel looked surprised. "What's this?" "Open it," Adam said, smiling wide. Daniel opened the envelope and pulled out a folded paper. Inside was a hand-drawn picture, stick figures of Adam, Daniel, and Sarah, all standing in front of their house. Above them, in bright red crayon, were the words, "My best gift is you." Daniel held the picture tightly. His eyes filled. "Again, this is the only gift I ever needed," he said. He hugged Adam tightly. "I'm so proud of you. You waited, you hoped, you believed." "I love you, Papa," Adam whispered. "I love you too, son." Sarah walked over and joined them. They wrapped their arms around each other. In that moment, nothing else mattered. Not the years lost, not the pain, not the questions, only love, only family. Later that night, the house was quiet again, but this time, it was the good kind of quiet, the kind that feels full, not empty. Adam lay in bed, the picture beside his pillow, the letter under it, and the blue keychain in his hand. Daniel peeked in and whispered, "Good night, son," smiled sleepily. "Good night, Papa." Daniel closed the door gently. He walked outside to the porch, looked up at the stars, and took a deep breath. The air smelled like peace, like home. At the end of the street, under the same old tree near the park, the bench stood empty again. But this time, it didn't hold sadness. It held memories. It held stories. It held the place where a man found his way back. And where a boy waited, with a heart stronger than time.